Alright, I left you guys before. I had the wheel removed that I had installed. And I got these caps. I need to finish that. I got some more welding wire. But before that, I'm going to work on this jack shaft. I'm going to weld these together, get them in place, try to line it up, put the shock back in, and worry about placement and where it fits. Maybe resupport this shock tower here and make this one piece. So let's get to it. Alright, so something like this is how I'm going to set up these jack shafts. I welded this together, but I'm really not happy with it. I had a bunch of slag, and it's too close to the teeth, and I feel like the chain doesn't ride correctly, so I'm looking at other options. Maybe I'll reduce it from the torque converter to the jack shaft. So I'll go 12 tooth to 10 tooth to 16 tooth, and then to my 60. And that I think will give me like a 3-to-1 gear ratio. I think that'll help me with my top speed, but I got to weld this up and make supports. I just kind of have that mocked up, so I'm going to get to cutting, and then I'll get back to you. Alright, next I'm going to work on these supports for my pillow blocks. I'm going to take these bolts that I have, and I'm going to lay these down and try to get them centered and mock them up. Then I'll put the pillow block over the top. Well, it's kind of hard to do with one hand, but I'm going to weld these bolts in here so I can adjust this pillow block, and that way I can weld this in place. Then secure it with nuts and washers. I think it's big enough that I should have some play. That'll pretty much be it. I'm gonna try to get them square on both sides. Okay, wrap these in electrical tape, so that way I don't get any slag on the threads. I had that problem before. See if that prevents it. It's probably gonna melt and be a pain in the rear to get off, but hey, science. Yeah, melted the tape. I can smell it. I'll let that cool off a minute and see what I got. Well, that shit stinks. So, as you can see, it's smoking and it's really hot, but fries the tape and slag doesn't stand a chance. It's all sticky and nasty, and you just kind of spin it off with some gloves on and it comes right off. I'm sure I can clean it up with a brush and everything will be okay. So I'll get to that, wait till it cools, and then I'll check the fit. I'll clean up those welds and make sure I get all the penetration, but as you can see, I don't have any slag around the nuts. I'll make sure I get in there real good and I clean it up. Get rid of those little bubbles. But so it sits flat, I'm going to take these washers that I have right here, and I'm going to set them on like so on the bottom, and then on the top when I put the nuts, then I'll take the pillow block and I'll set the pillow block on, and then I should make it smoother for adjustments. So I think that's what I'm going to do, and then I'll weld this down. But I'm going to wait till I get my sprocket so I can set my chain. But I think that's it, and I think that'll work. Okay, well I have everything mounted and mocked up. I'm waiting on that sprocket. Like I said, I want to tighten everything up. I want to do this chain to here and this chain to here before I put keys in and tighten everything up and weld down this jack shaft. But I got the wheel pretty straight and mocked up. I need to straighten out the axle. It's not even. I have more overhang on this side than that side. But I think it looks pretty straight, and I think it's going to work. I have enough space to line that chain and enough space to line that chain. So now we just wait. Okay, well, I'm gonna try to mount this hydraulic brake, this caliper on here. I made a couple tangs. I don't really care about the shape, just some scraps that I had on there. I'm just gonna tack them in place. I'm not certain if I'm gonna have to move it when I go to adjust the wheel or do the jack shaft, so it won't be permanent, just a few tacks. And then we'll see what it's looking like. Okay, so I got the brake mounted. It's just temporarily tacked, and that's why you tack stuff. Make sure you don't have any clearance issues, but I have a bolt that's hitting, let's see if I can get that, bolt that's hitting the brake bracket right there. So when I'm rotating over, it moves the bracket. Nothing's tight here, right? It could clear, but it's too close for comfort. So I'm going to take apart this brake assembly and I'll grind where it's interfering. And that should give me enough clearance. And then my jack shaft came in. I'm sorry, excuse me. My 10-tooth sprocket came in, so I'll put collars on that, and then I'll try to line up my chains and see about placement and tightness of all this. Right here. And then I'll grind this down right here. If you've ever taken one of these apart before, it gets pretty annoying putting it back together. So, like I was saying, you gotta make sure this is straight, this clip, that's what holds your pads. And I have your bracket. I filed that down. It used to have peaks on it. Now it doesn't. So hopefully that's enough clearance. I flattened those peaks. So we'll try to put it back together if we can. So these only go in one way. I believe it was this way. Sure, I have no metal ends because I was grinding. Okay. They go in this way. Oh, and I'm wrong. It was this way. They only go in one way. Oh. All right, that goes back in. And make sure it seats. All right. Then we take our inside pad. The two peaks face up. Kind of. Push that back. And then we have these two peaks face up. They definitely face this way. Well, get your springs. Should go in. Get clipped in. It's kind of riding funny. Make sure that it's in there straight. This pad doesn't seem like it's in there all the way. So this goes in here and then it sits on the groove. And this sits in here. So, and they should be equal to each other. So, I'll hook that thing back up to where I have it and see if I fix the clearance issue. All right, I think finally I have it. I could be wrong. Feels right. I didn't get it at all. Well, looks like I'm still hitting. I gotta take this center down. All right, try again. Little bits at a time. Nothing an angle grinder can't fix. Really have so much fun taking this brake apart. I'll be a pro at it pretty soon. All right, everybody, well, it's that time of night. It's getting too late for me to grind. I have a solution for this to fill this gap. I have a sleeve that I'm going to cut down, so I'll have something to bite, and that'll keep this disc in this caliber straight and tracking correctly. I went and hooked up my chains. Obviously they have a bunch of slack, but just to mock it up, looks like I'll have enough room for adjustments to make it straight. And then also on this side, I ran into a new problem, so I'm going to call it a night, is that on this lower spindle right here, it's actually hitting this plate, so I'm going to have to cut a notch out of there and then reinforce it to a lower plate. So next time I'll tackle those problems. I'll plumb the brakes, and then hopefully we could take it for a ride. But that concludes the video. So thanks for watching.